Next on the iceberg is JJ. Okay, look in my eyes. I cannot for the life of me figure out what this is. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. I am very excited. I'm always really excited for these to do the next level of the iceberg. We're going to be delving into some shallow waters. We're going to be doing part 3 of the iceberg. There's a lot of interesting theories that were a lot more in depth this time around, so I'm excited to go over them. Before we jump on in, I just want to let you guys know I do stream Genshin Impact over on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. EST, so you can go catch me there. I also post a lot of Genshin memes on my TikTok, so you can follow me there as well. It's a really, really good time, and I love to see you there. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe if you love iceberg videos and you like this video, which I hope you guys do. And leave me a comment if you think I missed anything or if you have your own theories. I love reading the comments and seeing what you guys think and have to say about all this. I also want to give a shout out to the original creator of this iceberg, Pawa, over on the Genshin Impact Amino page. As always, I'm going to be listing the iceberg in the description down below, so you can go check out the original yourself and see, I don't know, all the other comments that are under it. It's super interesting, and I'm very grateful that they made such a wonderful iceberg. With all that being said, let's dive right into it. But actually not, because the waters are shallow, so like you'd hit your... All right, the first part of this iceberg is Klee's original walk and Australia. Now, when I first saw this, I was like, this is the most random groups of words together. Like, Klee's original walk made sense to me, and then and Australia, I was like, what does Australia have to do with it? Klee's original walk was much more like bouncy, and I honestly like it a lot better. It was so much more cute, and I just really enjoyed it. I didn't know that that was her original walk. I don't have Klee, so I didn't know that her walk wasn't like that, but she just has a normal walk. Apparently it's a direct copy of Chi-Chi's walk. Apparently Sony and the Australian government allegedly forced Mihoyo to change Klee's walk animation due to, how do I even say this without YouTube freaking out? Due to it being deemed too sexual, okay? And Klee is a literal child. I'm gonna be honest, I feel like there are a lot of arguments to be made, not in Genshin really, I don't see that a lot in Genshin. I think there's a lot to be said about how children are portrayed in media, obviously, but I don't think this walk is one of those cases. I really don't see how it could possibly be seen as inappropriate. I really don't get it. She just looks like she's having a good time. I don't know, she's like bouncing around having a good time. I don't see what they saw, because that's just weird. Basically, that's what happened to Klee's original walk, and it's just a swap out of Chi-Chi's walk. And apparently, according to an alleged statement from Mihoyo, I guess her banner was pushed back a couple days when she was initially launched. I really don't, I mean, I know why it was changed. I really don't understand it. And I think her original walk is so cute. I feel like there are plenty of other things you could police, but I don't think Klee's old walk is one of them. So that's Klee's original walk and Australia. Next up is the theory that the ruin guards are created from human souls. Now, again, I'd like to preface that this Genshin Impact iceberg was made before the Reunited mission, where we learn about khaenriah, and they actually talk about ruin guards and how ruin guards were made by the people of khaenriah. So I really don't think they're human souls, but there are some people who still think so. So we have some people who talked about how they could be cursed people from khaenriah, and that a couple lore posts talked about that. But a lot of other people were responding to these kind of messages saying that ruin guards don't act like humans. They clearly act like programmed weapons. So it doesn't really make sense. There's a lot to be said about like Hilitrils and the rest of like the Abyss Order, but it doesn't really make sense. Ruin guards seem very robotic. Some people were theorizing that some of the numbers of the ruin guards start with HU, and some people thought that stood for human unit, and we're kind of equating it to Five Nights at Freddy's. I kind of think of the Walton Files in regards to people being shoved into animatronics, right? People being shoved into these ruin guards. I don't think that happened. It'd be interesting, but I think these theories made a lot more sense before the most recent Archon quest came out, where we learned about khaenriah. So now that that's out, I feel like It doesn't really make that much sense, but I think these are really good theories. I wish I saw them earlier before we actually knew, because I definitely would have been like a little Ruin Guard conspiracy theorist. So that's Ruin Guards are created from human souls. And I'm gonna go with a personal no on this one, but let me know if you agree with this or if you disagree and you do think that they are humans. I don't know. Next up is the theory that Paimon is the god of time. Now, can you tell that literally everyone in this community can't stop thinking about what Paimon is? Everyone is going crazy thinking about what Paimon could possibly be. I think this was a good theory. I actually like this one better than the unknown god one. To get the gist of this theory, you can actually fast forward time in the game when you go to your menu. And so some people were saying that this is because Paimon is the god of time and Paimon is the one that lets you do it. And when you pause your menu, Paimon is the only one that moves. Very, very interesting pieces of evidence. However, there was quite a funny comment on this Reddit post saying that Grass is the god of time confirmed, because Grass does in fact move when you pause your menu. So I would personally chalk this up to a game mechanic right now. I don't think she's the god of time. I think that it's just the menu, you know? But I do think it's a really interesting theory, and I hate to be like, it's just a game mechanic, because Genshin has so much lore and I feel like there's so much to delve into. So there is always a chance that this could develop into something more. But for right now, I'm kind of sticking to thinking it's a game mechanic until I hear something a bit more convincing. Okay, next on the iceberg, I'm laughing and you'll see why. Next on the iceberg is JJ. Okay, look in my eyes. I cannot for the life of me figure out what this is. I asked my Discord what this is, because I was like, oh, sometimes they know more than me. A lot of the time they know more than me. Okay, I asked my Discord, okay? No one knew, and you can, I'll just show you what they said.
Does anyone know what JJ is in Genshin? It's on the iceberg I'm working off of, and I can't find anything on it. I'm so confused, Leah. All it says is JJ. What do you mean JJ? What is JJ? Show a screenshot of the whole screen maybe. I need more to work with. Where does it say that? Those are my initials? I know nothing else from it. Johnson and John's jail. Just joking. WTF is JJ? Just joking. I'm gonna. Oh, I thought it was DG. JJ. KSI's overthink. Why would that be on the third level of an ice? JJ equals just joke. Guys, why would an iceberg say just joking? Are you guys okay? I'm just gonna go before I start overthinking what JJ is. Still can't stop thinking Jade Javelin. I made a post on the Reddit Genshin Impact server. If I don't get an answer there, you're SOL. JoJo collab. Well, all I know is that those who know about JJ have a tendency to crave photography of certain arachnid males. I thought Reddit would help. They just made it worse.
Hello, this is Late Night Leah coming in to say I reached out to the creator of the iceberg about what the fuck JJ is, and they responded that JJ isn't really a deep theory. It's just an inside joke about a player that gained a lot of attention at one point for being a Razor main and having a bad connection, which made them appear to do strange things like hover in the air or randomly do damage while not being around any monsters. That's what JJ is. If I can find any clips on it, we'll put them up. But I searched everywhere for this. I literally had to message them and be like, what is JJ? I have to know. So thank you again to Paula for making this amazing iceberg and dealing with my ridiculous question. It was very, very kind, and they had a really, really nice response. So JJ is just an inside joke about a player with a bad connection who is a Razor main. Next up on the iceberg is that Fischl is schizophrenic. Before we even delve into this one, I really don't like to diagnose characters with like actual mental illnesses unless they're written to actually have a mental illness. I just want to say I don't think she's schizophrenic, but there's like more to this theory about Fischl. I'm gonna butcher this. Please correct my pronunciation if you'd like. People are theorizing that Fischl is a Chunibyo. This is a colloquial term, a Japanese slang that roughly translates to middle school second year syndrome, which from what I've seen refers to kids in middle school who act like adults, but can also refer to people who think that they have powers and like are delusional about them having powers. This is specifically an anime trope, which I didn't know about. I didn't know that this was a trope in a lot of anime. So basically people think that this is what the case is with Fischl, that she just thinks she has powers, but obviously she does have powers. So I think it's kind of a twist on this trope where it's like, oh, she's like delusional and she thinks she has powers and she thinks she's this like literary character, which we talked about in the last Iceberg video. So if you want to know more about Fischl, definitely check that one out. But I think that this is more likely the case, and I think it's more like a twist on this trope. We're like, no, actually she does have powers, which I think is kind of funny. And I was looking through Reddit, and someone mentioned that in some of her voice lines, she tends to kind of slip up and get mad at Oz for not letting her kind of just say all of the words, because sis talks a lot. It seems like she's definitely has a storyline that she wants to stick to, which again, we covered in the last video that I just think she's a Wattpad obsessed girly. Obviously, she's not delusional about everything because Oz is real, and other people can hear Oz talk because in the story quest with Fischl and Mona, that was an event quest, Paimon actually reacts to Oz talking and is surprised. So I do not think Fischl is schizophrenic, but I think this makes a lot more sense than just the blatant statement. That's some more about your girl Fischl. Next up, we have the Archons Are Demons. Now, there's multiple things we could talk about here. And one, this could be a reference to the names of the Archons, like Venti being Barbados, Rex Lapis being Morax, and Paimon. These are all have associations with like demonic characters in literature. I really think this is just Mihoyo basing their names off of demons, though. There could be more to it, but one user pointed out that Dvalin is not a dwarf, so it doesn't really make sense. One user pointed out that Dvalin is a name used in this literature to refer to a dwarf character, but obviously Dvalin is a literal dragon that's gigantic. So again, I think it's kind of just a naming thing, but maybe we'll see it have more significance later on in the story. What I think is more likely is that the Archons are not as godly as many of us think that they are. This is another theory that I've seen a lot on Reddit, where a lot of people, I mean, with the new khaenriah quest especially, there's like stuff that I'm like, why did you do that? What's going on with the gods? Rex Lapis, aka my boy Zhongli, just like retired out of nowhere. He's like bound to contracts. I feel like Zhongli could be fucking people over a little bit, but he thinks it's for the best. I don't know about Venti. Venti be drunk all the time, so I don't really know what's going on there. But basically, it's just the idea that the gods aren't as godly as, you know, you would think they are. And I think this is probably true. And I think we're going to see a lot more about this once we delve a little bit more into khaenriah in the Archon quests. I think it'll be really, really interesting to just learn more because there's just so much lore, dude. And I really don't think the gods are all that we think they are. I think they're going to have a lot more flaws. And I think maybe we'll see more from where our sibling is coming from in the Abyss Order. Maybe we're the bad guys. I don't know. Next up, okay, this one's a lot to discuss, all right? Mihoyo caters to P-words. Do you know what you catch my drift? Okay, I'll talk about why, and I'll talk about why I don't think that this is the case, because I don't. This theory kind of arose because there's a NPC named Ulfer who talks about basically like being in love with Flora. And if you don't know who Flora is the literal child that runs Floral Whispers in Mondstadt. Now, you're like, Leah, this is some pretty damning evidence. What the fuck? First of all, let me explain why I think that this was not intended. Okay, first of all, one of the characters in the game, another NPC, refers to Ella Musk as her older sister. Obviously, Ella Musk is younger than this NPC. Ella Musk is also a child. Ella Musk has a child model. And I think that this is the same case, right? I think that Flora used to be an adult model, which there is an alleged picture from the beta showing Flora as an adult. I think that they just swapped out models and forgot to change some of the dialogue. This game is huge, okay? I don't think it's that out of the like realm of possibilities that they just simply forgot to swap the NPC dialogue. Do I think that they should patch it if they haven't? Absolutely. Do I think it's definitely creepy on first glance? Yes, but I really don't think it's deeper than that. I think they just swapped out the models. But yes, that's all I have for this one. Next up is Venti and Wendy. Major spoilers, I believe, for Honkai Impact. If you don't want to be spoiled, you can skip to the next part of the iceberg. Venti looks like Wendy from Honkai Impact. Wendy is one of the final bosses in Honkai Impact from what I understand, and definitely has a lot of similarities to Venti. They just look very similar. They have pretty much the same hair except Venti's is in braids. Very similar colors in their costume. We've talked about Honkai and Genshin having similarities before. I think this is kind of the same thing where I think their costumes are just super, super similar. I wouldn't be surprised if later on we find out there's like a connection between the Genshin characters and the Honkai characters, but I don't think it's necessarily important to Genshin Impact's lore. I think if anything, it's more of like an Easter egg. We also have to keep in mind it's the same dev team, same design team. I just think that they have a style, and I think that's why they look so similar. Both very well designed though. I love the designs in both of these games, and Wendy looks dope. One other thing though is that the Chinese name for Venti is Wendy. Very interesting. That's kind of like a weird coincidence, I think, but maybe it means more. I don't know. What do you guys think about Honkai and Genshin? Do you guys think there's more to it, or do you also think that's just kind of like an Easter egg? Let me know in the comments, because sometimes there's little things that I'm like, maybe there is more to it. I don't know. Next up, we have the theory that Alice was Isekai'd into Teyvat. Okay, now listen. Hold on. Sorry, I had to literally look up Isekai'd because I keep forgetting how to describe the meaning. According to Wikipedia, Isekai is a Japanese word meaning different world. So Isekai'd in the Japanese genre of like manga, anime, video games revolves around a person who's transported to and has to survive in another world, such as a fantasy world, virtual world, or a parallel universe. This is a very believable theory to me because basically the traveler was Isekai, like the siblings were Isekai'd. So I definitely think that this is probably true, but let me tell you guys some of the fucked up things I found out about Alice, okay? Because some of this just like messed up. I didn't know it was like that. Alice is Klee's mother, for those of you who don't know, and she's like a lot. She wanted to use the hilichurls, feed the weaker hilichurls to the stronger hilichurls to make them stronger, and then use them to power like a factory in Mondstadt. I don't know what's going on with her, but that's weird, okay? This makes me feel even worse for the hilichurls because I already feel bad for killing them all the time, but that shit is on another level, dude. There's that. And then Barbara also mentions that Alice gave her an idol magazine, and Barbara had no idea what an idol was before Alice told her and showed her this magazine. So I think that's interesting. That means idols are not a part of culture in Teyvat. So the theory is that Alice brought like an idol magazine, I don't know, from the world that she's originally from, and that that's a important part of her culture there. And she wanted to share it with Barbara. I feel like we're gonna learn more about Alice pretty soon. But first of all, I'm not having the best first impression with that hilichurl thing. And also, I'm just really interested. Why did she want Barbara to become an idol? Especially like if idols weren't even a thing in Teyvat. This is just weird. I don't know. I think there's a lot more to delve into about Alice. There were so many theories about her too that were completely unrelated to her being Isekai'd into Teyvat. That could make a whole video about just theories about Alice. But needless to say, I think this is true. I think a lot of these theories make sense, and I think it would make sense that the travelers aren't the only people who were Isekai'd to Teyvat. And also, it would kind of make a little more sense regarding Klee's ears, because we kind of talked about that last time, how she clearly has like elf ears. Maybe the world that her mother is from, like that's what everyone looks like. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about Alice. Have you guys heard more stuff about Alice? Because I don't know if I'm gonna like her from what I've read. Next up is Jiu and the Dragon. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but major spoilers for this part for Zhongli's story quest. If you have not done it yet, this is Zhongli's Act 2 story quest that recently came out. So this is like big spoilers You can skip this one, go to the next one if you haven't done that yet, but you should get on that. There's not much to talk about here. If you've done Zhongli's Act 2 story quest, you already know like the whole story basically. Again, this was written before that came out, so it totally makes sense that it's on here, because before this quest came out, this girl was just sitting at the tree talking about some dragon. But now we know that this is in reference to Azhdaha and Morax's history. And now this is a weekly boss that you can fight in the game. Basically, Azhdaha took on the body of this little girl, and then caused a lot of trouble, dude. It's like all of Zhongli's Act 2 story quests, though. If you really want to like know everything that happened, I would do that story quest. There's not a lot to theorize about here because it's confirmed now. It's like we know way more now that that quest is out, and we know that the little girl is actually Azhdaha, and that Azhdaha has a long history with Morax, revolving around like erosion, and how sad Zhongli's actual kind of life is, because lost like so many people. Man, that story is just sad, dude. But definitely check it out if you haven't done the part 2 of Zhongli's story quest and you want to learn more about this. I would definitely complete it because you learned so much about the lore. I think it's a great quest, for real. Next up is Teyvat book stories. So basically the books that you collect all over Teyvat are like readable, is that a word? Able to be read. And I didn't know there's a lot of lore in these books. There's so much. Okay, I'll give you one example. Apparently one of the books, called Vera's Melancholy, speaks of 14 Valkyries, and apparently there are 14 playable characters in Honkai Impact. So they think that this is a reference. Could be an Easter egg, like I was saying before about Honkai, but that this is a reference to Honkai. There's so much lore in all of these books, and I honestly, like, I feel like you could make videos upon videos on each of these books, because I had no idea that the lore went so deep into just everything about these books. There is a website, I believe, where you can read all of the books in the game. I'll link it down below, and we can put like the link up here if I find it. But I would definitely recommend checking that out if you're into like how much lore is in these books. And maybe I can make a video that goes more into detail on it later. It's just, if I talked about it right now, this video would be like way too long. I'll definitely leave the link below to where you can read the books if you don't want to like read them in the game. And if you would like me to go more into detail, leave a comment below and let me know that you'd like to see that, because I can definitely do some more research into these books. And I think it might be the key into learning a lot more about the story in Teyvat, and a lot more foreshadowing for the rest of the story. The last part is that Kaeya will become evil. Listen, I kind of believe this one a little bit. Okay. Don't attack me, Kaeya stans. Okay, but some of the Kaeya stans believe it too. Okay, and maybe he's not evil. Maybe he's in the right. We don't know. But basically, people have drawn a lot of attention to the fact that there's a lot of similarities between Kaeya and Abyss Mage designs. Okay. And one of Kaeya's passive talents used to be called Heart of the Abyss, and they changed it to Glacial Heart. Interesting. Why did they change it? Maybe because they were like, you guys are wrong, but maybe, just maybe, because we were so right. I think that could be the case. I'm just saying. Anyways, people also have pointed out that Kaeya's play style is similar to a Cryo Abyss Mage. Here are some of the similarities. This is brought up by user Dake Dokyu Mojo Joni on Reddit. Wow, I butchered that. So they say his last not triple, oh my god, do we have a car? His last AA combo teleports him to behind the enemies, and the animations are very similar to an Abyss Mage's, just white instead of colored. His E skill staggers small and medium enemies, same with Cryo Abyss Mage attacks, and his Q animations look exactly the same as a Cryo Abyss Mage's shield recovery animation. The mage just has more icicles. His C4 gives him a shield that from the enemy's perspective might be as annoying as the Abyss Mage's ones, LMAO. It looks like Noel's shield, but cryo. And then they mentioned the Glacial Heart that used to be Heart of the Abyss. I don't know, I think Kaeya has some ties to the Abyss. Also, Kaeya speaks fluent Hilichurlian, which the only other person in Teyvat that I know of that actually speaks that language is Ella Musk, and she's still learning it. So where did Kaeya learn it? People really think that Kaeya is from khaenriah. There's just so many things with Kaeya that are just sus. Among us. Why am I this way? I do think that Kaeya will, I don't know necessarily become evil, but I think will be revealed to have something to do with khaenriah and the Abyss. So I'm very interested to see where Kaeya's story goes. And I hope we get a Kaeya story quest. I want a new one. I want to learn more. Give me more information about him. Maybe I'll like him more if I know more about him. Because I'm not a Kaeya stan. Sorry, Kaeya stans, I'm not one of you. That wraps up today's 3rd level of the Genshin Impact Iceberg. I hope you guys enjoyed this level of the Iceberg. There was so much more to get into. There was so much more to talk about and so much lore just to like research and look at. Let me know if there's anything you want me to expand upon. I'm totally down if there's like a video you guys would like me to make on any of the parts of the iceberg that you think I should go into more detail on. And let me know if you disagree with any of my takes on this or you agree with any of them. Just let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your guys' take. I cannot wait to just keep going deeper into this iceberg. It's so fun to look into the lore and it gives me like a reason to do a lot more research. That's it for today's video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like I said before, if you want to catch me live on Twitch Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5 p.m. EST, we play Genshin, we clown around. It's a whole circus over there. So make sure you go follow me over there. You can also follow me on my TikTok to see more of my Genshin memes and just absolutely more clownery. And then also over on my Twitter where I tweet about Genshin and also troll my friends who also play Genshin. Also, if you want to join the Discord server and tell any of us who JJ is or what JJ is, please do that because I think the Discord server is in shambles trying to figure it out. Make sure to like and subscribe if you liked this video and turn on that bell notification so you know when the next Iceberg video comes out because it's about to get crazy. Thank you guys again for watching and I will see you guys next week. Peace.